Welcome to the Deep Dive Books channel, where we hope you find something valuable every day.
We continue our exploration of Yuval Noah Harari's Nexus. Today, let's finish this book. This book revolves around AI, but Harari's understanding of AI is disappointing. His perspective remains stuck in the 2012 AlexNet image recognition breakthrough and the 2016 AlphaGo Go playing event. He neither discusses the basic principles of AI, nor focuses on the large language model revolution led by GPT-3 in 2020. He doesn't seem to grasp the conditions and limitations of developing practical AI systems. This might explain why Harari imagines AI as a god, while simultaneously fearing its destructive potential, not realizing that these two ideas contradict each other. For example, Harari suggests terrorists might use AI to trigger the apocalypse. He states, the terrorists might be more versed in some apocalyptic mythology than in the science of epidemiology, but they just need to set the goal, and all else will be done by their AI. The AI could synthesize a new pathogen, order it from commercial laboratories, or print it in biological 3D printers, and devise the best strategy to spread it around the world via airports or food supply chains. But I would argue, if AI were truly that powerful, wouldn't countries or corporations have better controls in place? This speculation is no different from assuming terrorists can easily obtain nuclear weapons. Take Hezbollah in Lebanon. Under immense pressure from Israel, they don't dare use smartphones. Even using pagers still results in attacks. So why assume these groups can access unaligned AI? Harari also mentions Putin's push for AI. But do you know, Russia lacks a viable microelectronics and IT industry? Many of its weapons remain at World War II standards, and its phones rely on Chinese manufacturing. Without Chinese components, it can't even produce motorcycles. So how can such a country develop advanced AI? Essentially, Harari imagines a godlike figure descending to Earth. Omnipotent yet unreasonable, helping or harming at will. This book focuses solely on AI's dangers, without discussing its benefits for humanity. This perspective felt refreshing in his Homo Deus 8 years ago, but now sounds repetitive. AI is not a god. It is a human invention with physiological and technical limitations that make misuse less likely. While I disagree with Harari's pessimistic outlook, the book still holds value, brimming with insightful observations. Harari understands history. In this final segment, let's explore his warnings about the future from a historical perspective. To understand AI's impact on the world, the key question is whether AI will be a tool of centralization or decentralization. Technically speaking, technology itself is neutral. It doesn't inherently favor democracy or dictatorship. However, democracies rely on checks and balances, while dictatorships thrive on centralization. Certain technologies favor one system over the other. For example, land promotes decentralization. If a nation's wealth comes from land, long-term centralization becomes difficult. After Qin Shi Huang unified China, he gathered nobles in Xianying and melted down weapons into 12 golden statues. But it was feudal. Land cannot be centralized. As long as local areas have land, they generate wealth, produce weapons, and possess rebellion potential. In contrast, railroads favor centralization. Railways enable rapid deployment of military forces across empires and beyond. How could local forces revolt? The emergence of railways spurred ambitious rulers, aiming for global dominance. So, does AI promote centralization or decentralization? Harari's views on this are contradictory. On one hand, Harari argues that AI's power comes from big data. Whoever controls the most data becomes the strongest. Thus, only China and the US can dominate AI and the world. He gives an example. To train AI that discovers new medical treatments, smaller nations would rely on China, as its massive population generates the largest data sets. Data, therefore, trends towards centralization. But what happens if all global data concentrates in Beijing and San Francisco? Will they control the world's information, preferences, and privacy? Wouldn't this mean whoever controls AI could dictate the world? I believe Harari's logic here is flawed. Data doesn't work like that. More data isn't necessarily better. To train a robust healthcare AI, you don't need data from 1.4 billion people. Collecting samples globally, say, 1 out of every 10,000, is sufficient. Moreover, a solution tailored for China's population might not suit Europeans. Take autonomous driving. AI trained in the US cannot be directly applied in Germany. Differences in traffic rules, intersections, driving habits, and even climate require local adaptations. The US cannot monopolize global technology simply because it has more cars. Data is not oil. Oil is universal. The more, the better. Data is specialized. Enough is sufficient, and it quickly becomes outdated. On the other hand, Harari suggests AI might conflict with authoritarian regimes. First, dictatorships trying to train a large language model for political propaganda will fail. Dictatorships thrive on doublespeak. Official narratives rarely reflect reality, and everyone knows it. But how could AI discern this? There's no dataset explaining the subtext behind official rhetoric. Second, if a highly advanced AI centralizes all information, it might undermine the dictator's authority. Harari cites historical examples. Roman emperors were sometimes overpowered by their praetorian guards. The emperor trusted no one but his captain, so all information flowed through him, granting him unchecked power. Similar cases abound in Chinese history. Eunuchs, officials, or regents often sidelined emperors. AI could follow a similar path. Moreover, authoritarian citizen strongman worship could easily transfer to AI. As mentioned earlier, I don't believe AI can brainwash people. But here, I'll add. Dictators would never cede power to AI. No matter how powerful AI becomes, it can't make flawless decisions. Even if AI were perfect, why entrust all data and decisions to a single system? Wouldn't dictators consult multiple AIs for advice? Planned economies propose that a central AI could coordinate all resources. But power doesn't operate that way. Power is inherently human, not based on scientific decision-making. Authoritarian rulers don't care about expert opinions. Control over resource allocation is the essence of power. It's about bestowing favors. Why delegate that to AI? Harari's most significant warning is the possibility of the world splitting into two digital empires, separated by a silicon curtain, much like the Soviet Iron Curtain. The signs are already visible. Chinese users cannot access Google, Facebook, YouTube, or Wikipedia. Americans rarely use WeChat, Baidu, or Tencent. The US restricts high-end chips from China and bans Huawei's 5G equipment, impacting even the EU. Harari envisions a future where software and hardware split between Chinese and American spheres. If this happens, each network's experiences and worldviews will diverge so drastically that communication and consensus become impossible. Wouldn't that divide the world? While this warning has merit, I remain optimistic. Let me offer a simple example. TikTok faced numerous calls for bans or acquisitions in the US. Yet its immense popularity prevents a total ban. Currently, only government employees face restrictions. Even if apps like TikTok were banned outright, the world wouldn't fracture. Consider X, formerly Twitter. It's an American platform. Yet American, Japanese, and European users frequently share Chinese short videos. Humorous, heartfelt, or entertaining. The comments reveal that viewers across cultures enjoy these videos in the same way. They don't say, "This is Chinese content." They simply say, "It's great." Similarly, many excellent YouTube videos with Chinese subtitles circulate in China. We don't reject them because they're American. This reflects a universal truth. Human emotions and reasoning transcend borders. Technology's ability to connect far outweighs its divisive potential. Finally, I want to share my perspective. In China, we often discuss the primary contradiction of any given era. Today, I believe the main conflict is not between AI and humanity, nor democracy and authoritarianism. It is between modernization and identity politics. Modernization stems from technology, intelligence, and reason. Scientific discoveries, advanced systems, and innovation reside in the human mind, and are universally valid. There is no Western physics or Eastern physics. Physics is physics. Countries may set different technical standards, but when someone invents Wi-Fi, it's neither Western nor Eastern. It's simply technology. Those who find it useful will adopt it. Similarly, there's no Western economics or Eastern economics. Economic principles apply universally. Yet some people reject foreign ideas under the guise of patriotism. Arab nations denounce women's liberation as heresy. Trump coined globalists as scapegoats, proclaiming, "We reject globalism, we embrace patriotism." These individuals, not AI, threaten to divide the world with their Silicon Curtain. Despite my criticisms, Harari offers one particularly valuable insight. Global cooperation and patriotism are not contradictory. He says, patriotism doesn't mean hating foreigners. It simply means loving your compatriots. Sometimes, loving one's compatriots requires cooperation with others. For example, if a German scientist develops a vaccine for a global pandemic, should Brazil reject it, in favor of waiting for a local alternative? That's not patriotism. It's stupidity. Harari further clarifies that, globalism doesn't mean creating a world empire, or abandoning national loyalty. It simply means cooperation, which requires two things. 1. Respecting international rules, even if others created them. 2. Prioritizing humanity's long-term interests over short-term gains, regardless of nationality. Harari compares this to the FIFA World Cup. Patriotism thrives, as fans cheer for their nations. Yet global cooperation requires respecting rules, and condemning cheating. Even when done to help one's team. These are simple truths, but populists often fail to grasp them. With that, we conclude Nexus. This book was written by an Israeli active in the US, yet we Chinese can read and discuss it. Where, then, is this so-called Silicon Curtain? That's it for today's content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
If you feel there is value in this, please like, subscribe to this channel, and leave your thoughts or suggestions in the comments section. Let's grow together and read more good books.